All right, what's going on, everybody? Project Alethea here. We're going to go over a video that I found very interesting recently. This is from a guy that has basically I've come to really enjoy. He was someone that Nick Fuentes did not like simply because of his ethnicity, was very skeptical. But David Smith has kind of grown. He has shown that he really is one of the good ones. And this video tonight about he's going to be talking about JD Vance's interview with with Joe Rogan, and to say the least, it was pretty bad. And we're going to go over that. And we're going to talk about. I'm going to play the video. We're going to talk about like I share his sentiments, and he's really smart at articulating exactly things that most of us can't articulate. And like that deep down, like inner conviction makes like you have that spidey sense where it's like, oh man, something's wrong with this, and you don't know how to articulate it. He and Nick Fuentes are two guys that can articulate it for us. So let's just dive straight into it. This is going to be a part of the America First for Millennial series, and how we're going to be able to understand it moving forward, especially for the millennial generation. All right, let's play this video.
Direction I'm trying to advocate, but I'm a team player and this is the job. So if that's the direction Trump's going in, I'm standing with him.
What a weak message, man. Oh, Jesus.
You know what I'm saying? That's going to piss off Trump. And at the same time, if you want.
So they're talking about how weak the message was that JD Vance was giving. He's basically, should I back this up? Can I back this up? Do they play that? All right, we're going to back it up a little bit, and then we'll skip forward here.
I'm not saying that can't possibly be true. Like logically, it's not impossible, but you would think even as you make the statement, you'd be like, did he dominate? Anyway, nobody's buying it. That's just the thing. Nobody is buying what JD Vance is laying down, and for very obvious reasons.
Well, he's in a tough spot because he's trying to pretend like he's against wars and that he's the voice within this administration for cutting a deal and not accelerating the war. The problem is you cannot criticize Donald Trump and you have to be 100% loyal. And he already was a little bit of, he was kind of throwing a little bit of shade at Trump of, I'm trying not to go in that direction. I'm trying to advocate, but I'm a team player and this is the job. So that's the direction Trump's going in. I'm standing with him. You know what I'm saying? That's going to piss off Trump. And at the same time, if you wanted to actually win back the real, in my opinion, America First that Trump ran on, you have to leave this job and go, these people are out of their mind. We've been taken over by Israel. I've seen it firsthand. Here's the problem. I want nothing to do with this.
Oh, he could win if he did that. Yeah. But he doesn't have the balls to do that. He just doesn't have the courage of his convictions. He doesn't actually, the problem is, this has always been the problem with JD Vance. JD Vance really, really wants to be president. And that's actually his highest value. Right. There's nothing actually higher than that. And so that means he's useless because that, he doesn't actually have any convictions stronger than that. So if you just want to be president, then of course he's never. But yes, you're exactly right. This is why this thing's a disaster. Again, this isn't even just my opinion. I'll give you my opinion. We're about to
slow it down a little bit.
I will not hold back from telling you exactly how I feel about everything he's saying. But I'm just saying politically. He's being a political actor here, right?
Yeah, he is a complete political actor, and he's right. It makes him useless because he can't speak the truth. Dave Smith is an advocate for truth, as are so many of us, and we get penalized for it. One of the reasons why he might not be penalized for it because he is a Jewish man, and this is why we have to, in the American First movement, be friendly with Jewish people, because he has a stretch far more than any of us goy do. He has a more, they will be more sympathetic to him to be able to speak that truth far more than us. Let's keep going.
And so what happened as a result of this is that the Israel lobby is furious at him. Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin, all the Israeli spies, in effect, are out just trashing him for doing what? Because this is the impossible position they're in. He's just trying to meet in the middle. He's just trying to somehow, he knows he has to look at the Joe Rogan Experience audience, this huge podcast audience who is just not where the administration is. They're totally against the war. And he's got to look at them. He's got no argument to make to them. So he's got to go, okay, look, I get your point, and I'm kind of with you. And between me and you, these Israelis really are kind of asses. But, you know, also everyone does this and it's no big deal. The war's not really for that. Anyway, essentially what you did is you infuriated the entire Israel lobby and you didn't impress us 1 inch. You know, that's all you're left with. We're sitting there and going, you're still defending the bullshit war. You're going to look me in my fucking eyes, JD Vance. You fucking liar. Like, I don't know. How am I supposed to respond to a man? Listen, for me personally, he's not just looking me in the eyes in the sense that, like, well, as the viewer, he's the vice president we're talking to, but I'm also watching him talk to my friend and fucking lie to him. And lie to his fucking face. Oh, really? Trump wanted the Epstein files released? Oh, he didn't fight that? Dude, shut the fuck up. Shut up. You liar. Donald Trump didn't get his... Yes, because they had a veto-proof majority. He finally signed the bill. He dragged Bobar into the fucking... into the Situation Room.
When he says my friend, Joe Rogan is that his friend. He does credit Joe Rogan for basically helping him with his career greatly. And Joe Rogan has actually done that for a lot of people. He's platformed a lot of people. He's created a lot of he's given a lot of people a great platform to build their career. That's just who Joe Rogan is. Joe Rogan is a people maker. And that's why Joe Rogan is kind of a legend. He's not just a legend because of his podcast. He's a legend because the people who work for him that he's platformed, they go on and they do great things, and Dave Smith is one of them. But he's talking about how JD Vance sat there and lied to his face. I mean, this guy, he really did. It really is pathetic. This guy is in a really weak position moving in. He's not, he pissed off not just the Jewish establishment, but his voter base. He has nobody. This guy's career is in the shitter. He's not going to be the president. Donald Trump going to war with Iran made sure of that. I don't think that was Donald Trump's main objective. I think Donald Trump's main objective was to make sure that the Trump legacy was intact, by selling out, the American people, the coin dump, the Trump coin dump. And now it's like this whole, what's that platform that he's on? It's like his own, geez, I'm drawing a blank on it. Now he's going to sell information, Truth Social, where you could pay him thousands of dollars. He'll give you information up front. And so if you're a stock person, you're going to have information in front of everybody. So it's going to be insider information that he's selling to the American people on Truth Social. It's crazy. Let's keep going.
Office.
And I called up Margaret
He was threatening people, getting them to vote. Mike Johnson, he had Mike Johnson whipping everyone to vote against that thing. Shut up. You're fucking lying to me. Oh, we would have fought this war even if it hadn't been from Israel.
Yeah, that's
dude, shut the fuck up. You're a liar. So what? I don't know. At the end of the day, this is just a moment in history where people are looking for real leaders. We're looking for men who speak the truth. And JD Vance is just, to me, I just look at this, I go, this is a weak man. Yep. This is not a truth teller. This isn't someone who believes in anything. I don't know. It's just, and by the way, I also should mention, if I'm being completely fair, it's not that he's bad at this. He's pretty good at it. He's pretty good at going on a podcast and talking about things. He's a very bright guy. He's a bright guy with a high verbal IQ who is interested in ideas. But he just, at the end of the day, doesn't believe in anything except I want to be president. All right, guys, let's take a moment and thank our sponsor for today's show, which is...
And authenticity is a very, very important thing. We have the perspicacity nowadays to tell if you're full of shit or not. True story.
It is summertime. One of the things you need during summer is good comfort.
Johnson as the whip. I was like, it really is Trump's little jockey boy.
Well, that's what he was doing. I mean, he's not technically the whip, right? He's the speaker, but that's what he's doing, is whipping votes. He literally said our political order will be destroyed if we pass it. And then the other thing is that he just sits there and says we found 6 million documents and we only held on to a few dozen of them to blah, blah, blah. No, you're just lying. Maybe, and then I hate the way he positions himself as he goes, listen, I'm the Epstein conspiracy. I'm the guy who's done the deep dive here. And then is either lying or doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about through the whole thing. You have done no deep dive. You have not done deep research into any of this. And in fact, even when he's talking about the war in Iran, there were major parts of it. Maybe we'll play a few of these clips where you're like, I'm not sure he has any idea what he's talking about here. Like, he isn't the guy who's done the deep dive, or he's just lying. All right, let's get into some of the clips. Let's go to the first one. I can't remember if this is Epstein or Iran.
I think it started with Iran and then it went to Epstein, because the Epstein pivot was about whether or not Trump.
Right. Which, by the way, already even is it just crazy that this is the conversation already? Just where the Overton window is, where the new media is. It is crazy that this is here, but it's excellent in my opinion. So yeah, here, let's.
I try to make it as successful as possible. And I've got friends, of course, you know, you've expressed some skepticism of this. I've got a lot of friends, both in private and public, who've expressed skepticism of this, who say, well, this is terrible, we disagree with the decision, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not a public commentator. My approach to this is not to Monday morning quarterback a decision that was made 3 months ago. My approach to it is to try to make it as successful as possible, which is why I poured my heart and soul into these negotiations, which is why I've tried to make that goal, Iran not having a nuclear weapon, something that's not true both not just now, but it's true in the long term. And that's the way that I try to approach it.
So what is going on with you? Pause it already. I pause it already. Holy fucking shit, dude. You want to be the president? That's the weakest shit I've ever heard in my life. What a pathetic, it's Obama levels of, I remember when there was all this pressure on Obama to prosecute. Because, you know, Obama had really leaned into a lot of that left-wing energy in 2008 and leaned into the fact that, like, George W. Bush and Dick Cheney erected this completely illegal torture program. Blatantly illegal. Illegal under our own laws, illegal under the Geneva Convention, which has been ratified by Congress. I mean, this is shit you go to jail for the rest of your life, but you're not allowed to do this. So there was a lot of pressure for him to prosecute, you know, Bush and Cheney. And his defense was, he goes, now is the time to look forward, not backward. And, it was always like, well, here's the thing about prosecuting crime. You have to look backward. Like, it's always a look backward. You don't look forward. Like that. What does that mean? I'm not going to Monday morning quarterback. So we're talking about a war of aggression. Where do you stand on this? And yes, by the way, this war is also illegal under our own law and under international law. People should go to jail for this fucking shit. And like, dude, thousands of people have been killed. Hundreds of billions of dollars have been blown. Monday morning quarterback? Where do you stand on this, sir? Take a position. Well, my job here is just to come along and try to fix the thing at the end. No, that's actually not right. If it was a bad policy, your job is to oppose it and to try to reverse it.
Are you starting to understand here, millennials, like how much bullshit the boomer media is feeding you? This is going to be a common theme that I'm talking about as far as politics, as far as red pill, as far as why I hate church, as far as, you know, the red pill and the intersexual dynamics. Like, everything you've been fed is complete garbage. This rhetoric comes from classical liberalism. Classical liberalism, going all the way back to Immanuel Kant, to even before him, David Hume, and before him, John Locke. These guys, they come up, you know, they were going up against what they thought was a dogmatic system of religion. And I'm sure there was a dogmatic system of religion, but the dogmatic system of religion was the popular culture. Whatever the popular culture is always becomes deeply problematic. Now, classical liberalism is the popular culture, and it has led us to some of the worst outcomes in human existence. As far as we developed this great civilization, and now what do we have? We have promiscuity. We have people not, birth rates dropping. We have mass debt. We have America going into great debt because they're feeding into Israel. I mean, it's just been a number of things that have been problematic, and there's been a lot of good things, I'm sure, but the bad things have far outweighed it. It really has. And we need to, like, be able to understand, like, that classical liberalism has failed us. It really truly has. And that's just human nature. Like, whenever we think of something that's gonna save us, it saves us for a time. Just like what we're doing now in the Groyper movement, in the red pill movement, in the ortho bro movement, it's gonna save us for now. But in the future, if it ever becomes the mainstream, it's going to start failing people. That's human nature.
Apparently, although this sounds friendly and this sounds nice, he presents it as reasonable. What he's really saying is, hey, this is a really dirty and scummy job, and I've chosen to have this job. And so the position is, I support the president. And so if the president's going to do something illegal or bad for the country, I've chosen to do this job, and so I will get his back and I will represent him. That's not really what the job is. The job is supposed to be represent the American people. And if everyone's lying and stealing and cheating from us, then you actually be an honest person and you call that out. And by the way, that would be better for your political career if you actually did that. But in the nicest possible way, he's telling you, hey, we're all thieves and scoundrels. And I've taken the job of being the second most important thief and scoundrel. So I will continue doing my position of a thief and a scoundrel. And what the president wants to do is this disastrous war on behalf of the Israelis. So I'm here to represent that that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's just the idea that this is going to, again, who the fuck does this appeal to? It don't appeal. Dude, if you come out of an interview and you got Ben Shapiro and Dave Smith hating your guts, you had a bad performance. You know what I'm saying, dude? There's no, every end of the spectrum is pissed off by this.
Can I just tell you, your job kind of is to Monday morning quarterback it, because imagine if your team just lost a game and now you're doing the press conference, you're the assistant coach, you're the defensive, whatever. Your job kind of is to be like, yeah, this play scheme didn't work, this play scheme didn't work, this didn't work. Like, it's
because I don't even know. Monday morning quarterbacking is like the dumbest goddamn slogan. Do you know what NFL teams do on Monday? They watch tape of the game. They go over what happened on Sunday.
Yeah.
That's the point of Monday. Yeah, you get ready for the next game by going over what you did and trying to improve on it. Yeah, dude, you're the vice president. That's right. And the president of the United States of America launched a war of aggression, a war of choice. Then he lost the war. Then he pivoted to a blockade, a blockade and economic war, and he lost that war. And now he's pivoting back to the war again. By the way, another major thing. I can't believe I didn't mention this in my big takeaways of the episode. He's totally out of sync with the administration. He's still on last week's talking points. Well, this week, the administration's back to the war. We're not mad at the Israelis anymore. We're mad at the Iranians for violating the agreement. He's still trying to sell the memorandum of understanding. The president announced the memorandum was dead. Quote, it's over, according to the president of the United States. So that was very bizarre too. But I actually can't imagine that he goes, now listen, it's not my job to take a position on the issue of war and peace. My job is just to try to make it work. Like, okay. Is that satisfactory to you, to anybody? I'm not going to take a position on lockdowns. My job is just to make them work. I'm not going to take a position on vaccine mandates. My job is just to make them work. Why do you get to do this on war? Like, no, fuck you. The entire goddamn American public, and I'm sorry, I take this personally because I really care about this issue, and I've done more than my fair share to try to move public opinion in a certain way. But there is goddamn consensus, super majority consensus amongst the American people that the last thing we wanted was another stupid, unwinnable war. And that is a big part.
Yeah, Dave is like super pissed off here. I love it, man. I love Dave all charged up. And you could tell that this interview with JD Vance on Joe Rogan really pissed him off. That's why I'm doing it. Excuse me. Late night here. Going on vacation tomorrow. I can't wait. That's why I'm doing this show late night, because I want to get one more in before I go on vacation. But yeah, man, like he's totally pissed off. Totally pissed off. And you know what? Good for him, because people need to be pissed off at this shit. And Dave is like, he is representing his fan base. He is. He's doing a good job. And I really like him. His level has gone up. Like, he's gone up like 3 notches after this episode, in my opinion. And I think he's already been up there, but like, this is really awesome.
Of what swept Donald Trump into sweeping all the swing states and winning the popular vote for the first time. So like, no, we all took a position on this. You don't get to just say, no Monday morning quarterback. Hey, we launched a war for Israel. What, are you going to Monday morning quarterback that the whole time? Yeah, actually, in fact, I am. In fact, that's all I did.
It's not what happened here, but it's conceptually funny to me that I think Rogan sometimes does like record it on Monday to put it out on a Tuesday type deal. And it's funny if you're trying to get Donald Trump's back on something that Donald Trump could potentially completely reverse course by the time and true. Everything you just said is no longer like, you're like, imagine if you're on there going like, oh yeah, the Iranians are definitely getting a bomb. We have to get rid of them the day before they announce the MOU. And then that comes out and you're just like, oh yeah, I was working with 24 hours ago, Donald Trump.
Look, I got to say, man, it's that is a very good point. But I will also say, look, it was, we called it the moment it happened. In fact, I remember doing a show about it, either the day or the day after that Kamala Harris went on The View. And we went, man, that's going to be a black eye on her campaign the whole time. That the very simple question of what would you have done different than Joe Biden? And she goes, I can't think of anything. And you got this very unpopular president. You got a really bad economy. You got the inflation and the immigration, true crises that were going on. One that is still going on. And you sit there and just completely tire yourself. Like, I'm not my own person. I am not different in any way. I do not represent change. I represent the status quo. That's devastating when people aren't happy with the status quo. JD Vance coming here and saying, I'm not going to Monday morning quarterback this, I'm not going to take a position, is in effect the same statement. I will not separate myself at all from the administration. Like, okay, but if you want to be the president, that's a albatross around your neck.
And it's funny for Kamala Harris.
Fast forward a little bit here to this next clip.
Been reached, negotiations have been successful, and then it all falls apart and we start bombing them again.
Yeah, so how long do we have here? Because this is
as much time as you need.
So I have to explain a couple of things to the background.
Such an interrogator. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, he's the best.
Yeah.
There is
this isn't Fox, so if you have more than 30 seconds, you're gonna have to come up with a longer answer.
Dude, I mean,
Hold on.
Obviously, I'm like,
rewind this.
Like, the president keeps saying that a deal's been reached, negotiations have been successful, and then it all falls apart and we start bombing them again.
Yeah, so how long do we have here? Because this is
as much time as you need.
So I have to explain a couple of things to the background.
Such an interrogator. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, he's the best.
Yeah.
This
isn't Fox, so if you have more than 30 seconds, you're gonna have to come up with a longer answer.
Dude, I mean,
yeah. So like Joe Rogan asked him a question, and then he's like, how much time do I have? He's like, as much as you need. He can't just get around this answer with like a 30-second clip. That's why these guys are laughing. It's pretty fun. It's pretty funny, actually.
Listen, obviously, I'm like the most biased human being in the world. So, I couldn't, like, if there was ever a trial or anything, I guess I'd have to recuse myself because I fucking love Joe to death. But the man changed my life and has helped me more than anybody else. And he's just the fucking greatest. But there's a reason he's been number one all this time, man. He is so good at what he does. And what he's able to do, I thought this was like, it's truly genuinely a skill. It's one of those things, it looks easy. People think being an interviewer and is like, but it's a real skill, and it's a skill I do not have, and maybe that's kind of why I admire it. But like what Joe's able to do, and I think it comes from, a lot of it's because he's very genuine. He's a genuine good dude. Everyone who knows him would tell you this. And so he has this real good faith, but he is asking in good faith. He's not pretending to ask in good faith. And so even like when the Gad Sad, I think that was the last
video
one where we did an episode on the interview, like he's able to get these guys on the record in a way that's so, because look what he's doing. He's already got him going, look, he just, in the most, not even kind of disrespectful way, but he asks a really good question, which is like, look, the cycle here is that Donald Trump keeps promising we have this amazing deal, it falls to shit, and then he comes back to bombing them. And then JD's got to go, how much time do we have? But it's the Joe Rogan experience, dude. And Joe gives it all the time in the fucking world. And then JD Vance has a real problem on his hands, which is that you got all the time in the world to sell this, man. But how can you?
I was prepared for a 30-second soundbite that we move on from.
Yep. He wants to signal. He wants to signal that he's one of us. That's the whole thing. This is why Ben Shapiro and them are so furious. Because he's obviously going out of his way to signal that he's one of us. But he won't actually say he's one of us. He won't actually be one of us. He won't actually take the easy position. Stop doing this. Whatever.
Right.
Yeah, let's keep going.
Let's keep going.
Oh, hi. I'm Liberty Bibbity, and I'm here to tell everyone about Liberty Mutual's great coverage and savings.
Appreciate people fully appreciate what's going on here. So number one, it's a bit of a simplification, but you have two elements within the Iranian system. You have, and you sometimes hear hawkish Americans say this, that they're all crazy people. They want to bring about, the 12th Imam, the apocalypse and all that stuff. Right. There are people in Iran who believe that. They're also pragmatists. You've got the crazy people, you've got the pragmatists, okay? So when we struck this MOU, and really what the MOU says, and it was misrepresented more than almost anything that I've ever worked on in public life. What it says is Iran is going to open the Strait of Hormuz. The violence is going to stop. And then we're going to negotiate to see if we can come to a broader deal on the long-term nuclear issue. That's what we wanted. And what the Iranians wanted, of course, was long-term economic and sanctions relief. Now, here's the...
Go ahead.
That's not...
I'm just so angry. I just can't stand being lied to. I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
The MOU, firstly, he's kind of pretending like the sanctions relief was coming later. That was from day one. There was also the fact that Iran was going to control the straits with seemingly the ability to feed down the line, but as a courtesy gesture, not imposing fees up front. And the fees were going to be protection or whatever, environmental, so that it wouldn't seem like they were just tolling the.
Yeah, so he's lying left and right. That's the whole point of this thing. Is like JD Vance is just completely full of shit. And he pretty much has at this point lost his ability to be the president. And that's his whole goal. He wants to, he's like Donald Trump. He's good at campaigning. Well, no, he's not like Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is actually good at campaigning. He's trying to be good at campaigning, but I don't know how good he is at being a politician, because he disappeared for months on end after the Iran war. We don't even know much about him. He spent, out of the first 2 years of the presidency, disappeared for a year for 6 months, a half a year. We don't know anything about this guy, and he's our vice president. We don't know if he's engaged with Palantir, Peter Thiel, Jeffrey Karp, or whatever his name is. It's like, who is this guy? And you could see Dave Smith is incredibly frustrated with him, as am I, as you should be. Let's just watch a little bit more. I'm gonna close this up for a little bit. I'm gonna close this out in a little bit, but I would show the Nick Fuentes clip, but I learned the hard way that I can't play Nick Fuentes clips on YouTube. They got silenced. I didn't get a strike, thank goodness. I just silenced the video, but all right, here we go.
Straits, but that seemed to be that it was conceded that Iran was going to be in control of the straits. There was also clearly money going to them at the beginning, which included the U.S. money that we've taken from them, given back, which is exactly what they criticized Obama for, and then $300 billion investment, which was not going to come from us, but obviously was going to get filtered.
But that we were guaranteeing, and that we were facilitating. So whatever, who cares who it comes from?
There was the Lebanon ceasefire, which was actually the first, I believe it was the first line of the MOU.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
and then, unlike the Obama deal, it was, all right, we're going to give you all of this up front and concede that we lost, and then we will get to the negotiations about nuclear later on, because that's how weak of a position we were in, that Donald Trump had to change from. The nuclear has to be worked out with all of this.
Exactly. Literally, all exactly right. Exactly right. And I think more, let me just say, like, even more meta than that, but you're 100% right on all the points. When JD Vance says that, like, he goes, oh, dude, there was so much misinformation about this memorandum of understanding.
What do you guys?
Well, no, like, he goes, listen, I've probably never, what does he say? I've never seen something more misrepresented that I've worked on than this. That is just a fucking lie. Like, he's just lying. It's not true. I'm sorry, dude. I've been around this game a long time, man. 20 fucking years. And I could describe my relationship with politics and as nothing other than an obsession. Probably an unhealthy one for the last 20 years that I've just been obsessed with all this shit. The memorandum of understanding was very accurately reported, dude. They sat there, you guys, because you were fucking humiliated by it, intentionally didn't release it until, like, what was it, like 24 to 48 hours before the thing was to be signed. After it had been, like, virtually signed, but before the official signing ceremony or whatever, they didn't want to release it because it looked so bad for them. Because, yes, it did say that, in the next 60 days, we'll have broad nuclear negotiations with no specifics. Yes, that's right. They left 60 days for what took 2 years to negotiate the JCPOA. By the way, this has been heavily reported all over the place. And this is something that is a really big deal to the Iranians, that Obama, however you feel about Obama, I personally think the man's a monster who should probably be publicly executed after a trial where he's convicted for war crimes. But Obama sent nuclear experts to negotiate a nuclear deal with Iran that took 2 years and ended up being a very reasonable deal, all things considered. Donald Trump, on the other hand, sent a couple of Zionist real estate agents, dude. Like, I don't know what else to say. It's insane. He sent Bibi Netanyahu's close family friend to go fucking negotiate. The guy who does real estate deals, he doesn't know a thing about fucking nuclear weapons. Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
The memorandum of understanding, you guys wouldn't release.
You kind of getting, like, how much information this is. I had talking points, or at least certain video clips I want to talk about. It didn't save for some reason, and I'm not going to get too much into this, but let's fast forward. We'll do one more clip of JD Vance here. There we go. And then we'll talk about it.
I guess my summary view, Joe, is that I, of course, can't predict the future. I don't know exactly where this is going to go, but I think fundamentally we are on the right trajectory. It's just going to be really messy, and there's going to be a lot of stops and starts. So what happens? The first week after we sign the MOU, we get 20 million barrels a day of oil out of the Strait of Hormuz. That's what it was before the war. The price of oil comes way down, and there are elements. The hardliners in the Iranian system kind of freak out a little bit. They're like, oh, shit. Did we just give away our major leverage point? Screw nuclear weapons. We just gave away the SO in this MOU. And so there was this kind of freak out in their system. So they shot at a couple ships. We responded. I think that's entirely appropriate, of course. If they're going to shoot at ships, we are going to shoot at the people who are shooting at the ships, or we're going to destroy the facilities that they're using to shoot at ships. So that happens. Okay, and then the Iranians are like, oh, no, fine. You're right. We shouldn't have been shooting at ships. So they come back to the table. And there's a few more days of negotiation. And then the phase they're in right now is the hardliners have really, really reacted strongly.
You can just
all
pause
the oil
here,
coming out of
and we can just go to the next clip. I don't know if is it sufficient for me to just say all of that is made up. Literally none of that happened.
Yeah.
It's just JD Vance telling a story. Like you're just sometimes I'll like tell my kids a bedtime story and you just make up a story.
It's
They're
so
like that.
crazy, dude. You can't even trust these people. Such bullshit. But you know who will believe them? Boomer Zionists will believe everything that they say. The people with the money. The people who don't give a shit about us. It's crazy.
It's kind of like that. It's kind of like when I just tell my kids a story. This is what this is not the Iranian hardliners started freaking out that they had given away the Strait. No, they didn't. They didn't give away the Strait. In fact, you codified their control of the Strait in perpetuity in the memorandum of understanding. That wasn't the issue. Now, there were hardliners in Iran who didn't think they should be negotiating with the Americans at all.
Yeah, Donald Trump completely lies. I wish I can get into the video that he was playing to the American people. He's a fucking pathological liar. They're total liars, dude. They don't care about you or me. Donald Trump does not care about you. Just like your boomer friends don't care about you. They only care about themselves and their own legacy. And they only have like 10 years left on planet Earth, and they're gonna do their goddamn best to fucking burn this place to hell before they all leave. It's fucking crazy, man.
Emboldened, and that's why they're shooting at ships going through, right? Like they're not. This just isn't true. The Iranians, again, I've been covering this the entire time. Say what you want to. The Iranian government has been clear and consistent, man. However you feel about them, and this is not what they're saying. This is what JD Vance is making up. This isn't what happened. Okay, let's go to the next.
Yeah.
To the next clip.
One more.
Let's try to get through some more of this if we can.
Before we do, just the actual quote is more in line with.
Okay, I'm sorry. So this is the text from the Memorandum of Understanding.
Yeah.
The Islamic Republic of Iran will conduct dialogue with the Sultan of Oman to define the future administration and maritime service in the Strait of Hormuz in discussions with other Persian Gulf littoral states, in line with the applicable international law and the sovereign rights of coastal states of the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, as like I said, very vague language. They'll communicate and figure something out and making sure whatever. Anyway, let's go to the next clip.
$1 billion in concessions to Iran to rebuild. And
yeah, so this is another just bullshit argument that the critics made against the deal. And again, like just to back up a little bit, this is my own little hobby horse, but look, the coalition that Donald Trump piloted to the 2024 election campaign, it was a landslide. We won 7 states. It was historic. Nobody, certainly no Republican, had actually led a coalition like that, at least since the days of Ronald Reagan. So like literally before I was alive. Okay. So Donald Trump wins this great coalition. And look, it's got hawks, and it's got people who hate foreign wars. Okay. It's got people like you and people like Tucker. It's also got people like Mark Levin and others. Okay. I just accept that as a reality. That's part of the coalition. I don't say that anybody is welcome or unwelcome. I say that if you're willing to sort of help us, you're going to get a lot what you want. You don't get everything that you want. What has really annoyed me about
all right, let's pause it right here.
Of this
let's just pause it right there because man, the framing of this just drives me fucking crazy. It's like even as he says it, he goes, "Look, we in this coalition that got Donald Trump the popular vote for the first time. Really unthinkable. Every swing state and the popular vote. We had people like Joe Rogan. We had people like Tucker Carlson. We also had people like Mark Levin. Ah, yes, the 3 major power players. in the Trump coalition, you know, just the most popular influential guys. You got Joe Rogan, biggest podcast in the world for most of the last decade. You got Tucker Carlson, the biggest right-wing news commentator, biggest show in cable news, and then got even bigger after he got fired and goes to the internet. Oh yeah, and Mark Levin, who gets consistently ratioed by Liam McCullum on Twitter. That was not a shot at Liam. Love Liam McCullum. I'm just saying, like, what world are you talking about here? Like, this is, yes, okay, again, it's not just like, hey, this was a coalition that had some anti-war people and some pro-war people. Yes, you had the Israel lobby, and then you had the American people. This war is 80% of people oppose this war. This is not a, hey, we had some people on this side and some people on this side. No, you only won that coalition. Listen, dude, Lindsey Graham,
huge,
God rest his soul, he's looking up at all of us right now. Lindsey Graham ran for president.
He is looking, Lindsey Graham, God rest his soul, he's looking up at all of us. Usually when someone dies, you say they look down on us. Depending upon where you go, you're either looking up or you're looking down. You'll get it.
Did not get 1%. Nikki Haley ran for president. She did not get 1%. Jeb Bush ran for president. Marco Rubio ran for president. Ted Cruz ran for president. All of these people ran. All of them lost in historic fashion. The Israel lobby loved every last one of them. Mark Levin loved every last one of them. He'll still have every one of them on his show anytime they want to come on. Where was the coalition? No, you won because you got us and you promised no new wars. That's why you fucking won. That's why you got Joe Rogan to support you. That's why you got Theo Vaughn and Tucker Carlson and, you know, Andrew Schultz and all the fucking cool kids. You carried all of them because you promised no new wars. Don't turn around and go, oh, you get some of what you want. Listen, you're all going to get some of what you want. None of you are going to get all of what you want. We get none of what we want. What do we get? What have I gotten? I've gotten zero, dude. Nothing from this administration. And so, and by the way, him sitting here going, I'm not going to say anyone's not welcome. Motherfucker, we excused ourselves. We are not interested. Don't care if you say I'm not welcome. Donald Trump already said, fuck Tucker Carlson, fuck Megyn Kelly, fuck Alex Jones, fuck Candace Owens. We are the party of Mark Levin. So have fun, JD Vance. That's the guy you're defending. You're going down, brother. You're not going to be the nominee. JD Vance's presidential campaign is going to be a fucking embarrassment, dude.
Listen, the people that wanted to get us involved in foreign wars shouldn't have been welcome. And not only did we not get what we want, we got the one thing that we were so opposed to, we would have sat out the election or maybe voted for Colin Powell. If Donald Trump ran on, I am going to war with Iran, it's the most important thing in this country. They cannot have a nuclear bomb. Israel's our number one partner, and this will be a horrible planet unless we take care of this now. And if you made that as number one issue, which by the way, what do you do with
another clip? There's one more.
We see eye to eye, but we're obviously very close to both Israel and to the Gulf states. The Gulf states actually came to
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be a dick. You just pause it for a second. I don't mean to be a dick, but is this his Kamala Harris, Russia is a big country and Ukraine is a small country moment? Wait a minute. You're telling me it's not just Israel and Iran? There's a bunch of other countries in there in the middle of all that stand? What, you got Arabs? I don't know. I just find why did we just take this to kindergarten for a second? What are you even talking about? And by the way, all of this is what? To just dodge around the point. Yes, there is. Read the memorandum of understanding. It guarantees a $300 billion fund. And yes, it's to be paid by the other, by our sock puppets rather than from us. Okay. Sorry. Go back to this infuriates me. Here, go back to the show.
Iranians are really willing to change their behavior. We'd like to invest in rebuilding their country. Now, whether they change their behavior is something that's going to be determined over the long term, right? We want to see real changes. We want to see them to stop funding terrorist
organizations.
Yeah,
let's pause it here. And then, okay, hold on. Yeah, get rid of this. Let's go to the next timestamp. But let me just say about this one here. I mean, it's like, no, dude, it's not we're giving them money. I mean, yeah, we've talked to other countries about investing in rebuilding their economy if they change their behavior. Like, okay. By the way, investing in their economy is that means give them money. That's the same thing. Yeah. I'm not giving you $100,000. I'm investing $100,000 into your economy. Like, okay, that's a really important distinction. But so then this is the interesting little game that they play here. They get the money if they change their behavior. Well, Rob, the thing about this statement, change their behavior, is that that's fucking vague. What does change their behavior mean? And again, when we get down to the details, during the memorandum of understanding, before it became over and fell apart and we're back to war, again, as I said, Donald Trump walked away from zero enrichment. He walked away from ballistic missiles, and he walked away from funding Hezbollah. So what does change their behavior mean? Don't develop nuclear weapons? They've been doing that for 47 years. Like, what is it? What, say that they won't develop nuclear weapons? They've been doing that for at least the last 20 years. So what do you mean? Change their behavior? See, that none of that is ever laid out. The standard for what their behavior has to be, the reason we went to war, the fucking reason we went to war in the 12-day war and in this war was that the standard was that they had to have 0 enriched uranium, 0 ballistic missiles, and 0 support for Hezbollah.
Yeah.
They're not changing their behavior on any of that. And Donald Trump conceded they don't have to. So what the fuck?
Yeah, that's that. We're going to leave it off right there. It's like, yeah, they had no enrichment program. There was really the whole nuclear like threat thing. Only boomers believe that, dude. And my whole point of this is Dave really represents everybody who's like 45 years and younger, right? It's like everybody's pissed off at the boomers and their stupid fucking presidents, and everybody they come up with these stupid wars. For what reason? For what reason? For what reason? It's crazy. Like whenever I talk to boomers, they'll be, and I try to describe the plight of younger people and how they have made situations harder. You know what their excuse is? Well, I only have a few more years left. It's not my problem. But then when you talk about the fucking war in Iran, well, we have to eliminate Iran, where we have to make sure Iran doesn't have any nuclear weapons. Well, which one is it? Do you care if Iran has nukes, or do you care about yourselves? It's so fucked up. But that's pretty much it. I'm going to close it off for tonight. I appreciate you guys coming in. Leave a like. Do subscribe to my channel. It helps me out greatly. I'm trying to get the message out there. I'm going to be having a Brotherhood of Aletheia starting off in the school.com soon. And I'm really looking forward. That's really where I want to connect with men personally, not just here on YouTube. I'm doing this YouTube thing just to bring men into a community for a great deal. It's going to be $20 a month. You're going to get a lot of value out of it. It's going to be so awesome. But that's it, man. I appreciate you guys. Peace.